6:03.
All right. It is 6:03 Apple time. So I am Julie Pierce. I am the chair of the Transportation Authority. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will have Terry Ann call the roll, which is necessary to have a meeting in which people participate by phone. So please, when Terry Ann calls your name, respond that you are present.
Commissioner Hudson? Here. Commissioner Mitchoff? Here. Commissioner Romick? Here. Commissioner Taylor? Here. Commissioner Arnrich?
Here.
Chair Pierce?
Here.
Are all present. We have the following individuals participating via teleconference. Commissioner Butt?
Here.
Vice Chair Geringer?
Here.
Commissioner Glover? Commissioner Glover is not present at this time. Commissioner Haskew? Commissioner Haskew is not yet present. Commissioner Kelly?
Present.
Okay, Representative Allen?
Present.
Representative Wilson?
Here.
Representative Worth? Representative Worth is not present at this time. We do have a quorum at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Terry Ann. And we will now have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America, and to the republic,
one
for
nation, under God,
and
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, for those on the phone, I have a list in front of me of who is on the phone. And the way we will handle this is I would appreciate if you would all mute your phones if you are on the telephone now. And when I call your name, we will give you time to unmute, and then you can comment. And for each item, I will give you the opportunity to give a comment or say you have no comment, either way. Okay, so that way we aren't talking over each other or getting background feed. So the next item on the agenda is public comment. At this point, anyone may address the authority with any item that is not on this evening's agenda. Do we have anyone for public comment? Looks like we are commissioners and staff only in the room. I will ask those on the phone if there is anyone present with any of you. I suspect none of you are at a public place, so it's unlikely, but I will ask. Hearing no one unmute, I will close the public comment period. We will go to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Chair Pierce, if I can, just in the interest of speed and efficiency, would it be all right, just looking at the people around here, if we moved the approval of minutes 1.0, 4.87, 4.1, and 4.3 into the consent calendar?
We may do that. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. And I'll move the consent calendar.
Okay, that leaves just, I believe, 2 items for the regular agenda. Is that correct?
4.2 and 4.4.
That would leave item 4.2, which is the Innovate 680 Mobility on Demand program, where we have an agreement we have to adjust with BART, and the Iron Horse Trail Program Advisory Committee appointment. So all other items on today's agenda would be moved into the consent calendar. That was the motion, and I have a motion by Hudson and a second by Taylor. All in favor of that? We do need, and we will go first to the telephones for a roll call vote. So unmute your phone so you can answer Terry Ann.
Is this just
To move them into consent, and there will be a separate motion then for consent.
I heard someone else enter the call. Can you state your name?
Federal.
Thank you,
Federal
Federal.
Glover.
Thank you, Federal.
Commissioner Butt?
Do you need it? Yes. Yes.
Oh, we're going to take a vote, and we'll call your name out. Commissioner Butt?
Yes.
Vice Chair Geringer?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Haskew? Okay, still not present. Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Romick?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Arnrich?
Yes.
Chair Pierce?
Yes. All right, that passes unanimously of those present.
Second.
I have a motion by Mitchoff and a second by Romick to approve the consent calendar, and someone else just joined us, and you can tell us who you are.
Hi, Julia. It's Amy.
Hi, Amy. We have moved all but 2 items into the consent calendar, and we are now taking a vote on the consent calendar. So, Terry Ann, would you please take the roll call vote?
Commissioner Butt?
Yes.
Vice Chair Geringer?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Romick?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Arnrich?
Yes.
Chair Pierce?
Yes. All right, thank you all. We will now move to the first of our 2 remaining items, which is item 4.2, the Innovate 680 Bay Area Mobility on Demand program, and Tim Hale is going to present on this. Tim?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I will be filling in for Peter Engel tonight. He's not well. And due to the circumstances, I'll be providing a brief staff report and happy to answer any questions after the staff report. In January of this year, we received, the Authority Board approved the cooperative agreement with US DOT for our Advanced Congestion Management Technology Deployment Grant and for the Bay Area Mobility on Demand platform. We did receive the notice to proceed from US DOT in February, and as you know, in February we approved our first agreement for several partners that were actually written into the agreement. That was Advanced Mobility Group, and now we're here forward tonight to do our second agreement with the Bay Area Rapid Transit Authority, BART, and they will be performing the system engineering and planning of the overall mobility on demand application, also working on integrating the mobility assets as well as data integration and cloud services for the overall platform. Just 2 days ago, we did receive some final comments from BART on the termination clause, Article 8.1, and that right now CCTA has the right to terminate with or without cause. And BART provided comments 2 days ago that they would like to change those conditions to having a mutual agreement based on cause. And so we are asking for your recommending this for approval with that, with the ability of having General Counsel actually negotiate with BART on that particular clause and approve it once we get the final language corrected. So staff seeks authorization for the chair to execute agreement number 547 with BART in an amount not to exceed $3,160,377.78 to provide project management, system engineering, Bay Area mod application design, development, implementation, operations, and maintenance of the application, and also to allow the executive director to make any non-substantive changes to the language, including general counsel, based on those comments from BART.
Okay, thank you, Tim. I'm going to go to the phones and ask if there's anyone on the phone that has any questions about this item.
No questions from Amy.
Anybody else have a question? Then I'll come back here into the room and ask if anybody here has a question. Karen.
Thank you. And what I heard you say, Tim, was that we wanted a contract that we could cancel with or without cause, and they want one only with cause. Do we usually ask for with or without cause, or what is our normal procedure? Is there concern why we wanted both? I have no problem with letting council deal with this, and whatever happens, happens, but I was just curious if there was some concern why we wanted it without cause.
I'll let council answer that question.
So since we're paying BART to do this work, if we wanted to terminate the project, we wanted the ability to have that flexibility. But BART themselves has some concerns, so they want the same flexibility. So in addition to that termination provision, we will likely be modifying the collection of data provision because both sides want to be adequately protected in order to collect the data and use it in the future should either party terminate.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense. And if there are, Kevin.
Kevin?
I would like to keep it more that we have sort of more of a say at termination, that it's not an equal, since we are the ones providing the money for this process, and we are contracting with someone to provide services to us. I don't think it's such a great deal. I mean, I'm looking at it from our own point of view, that we should protect ourselves, be able to protect ourselves, but having to have to come to some mutual agreement between both parties of whether or not they're providing the services that they should be doing or doing what they need to do. We should have more control than an equal say at termination for whatever the reason. That would just, however we have to word it, I don't think it should be we should both have the mutual ability for that decision.
Newell.
I'm satisfied with what our counsel said, what Mala described. It really is about the data. You know, that's what we want. We want to make sure that, and I would make a motion that we approve this subject to Mala negotiating the final agreement on that data collection and who owns it, regardless of how the termination works out. You know, everybody.
And I'll second that.
No, I agree with Newell on that. I'm more concerned about the data, but right. That's a separate thing. But the two being equal, yeah.
Okay. Randy?
I am done. Well, the question, you know, there's two different issues here. The data I'm okay with. The termination, I would like to see us have more of a final say than an equal split between the two.
Yeah, great point. But this is a leveraged project in that, first of all, we're probably not the right agency to do this. It should be like a regional body that worries about the whole Bay Area. But we put the application in and we were selected. This is a partnering project in that we're kicking in about $1 million. BART's kicking in something like $4.5 million. And so if the shoe were on the other foot, you would say the exact opposite. You would say, Randy, you need to go negotiate for an equitable termination clause that protects us as well as them. So we're putting the shoe on the other foot and may have been a little overzealous in our initial write-up. And I think this is a better way to proceed because at the end of the day, if this works, more people are going to be using BART and other modes of transportation rather than a single occupant car.
And just for the record, at the last joint meeting of ABAG and MTC was talking about their seamless mobility work and all of that as well. And I let them know that we had a grant and we were going forward already. So anyway.
Well, with that new information, I will remove my reservations then and
all
move
right.
forward as planned.
Very good. So I have a motion by Arnrich and a second by Hudson. Are there any further questions from people on the phone? Hearing nobody unmute, we will call the question and ask Terry Ann to take the roll call vote.
Commissioner Butt?
Yes.
Vice Chair Geringer?
Yes.
Commissioner Glover?
Yes.
Commissioner Haskew? Still not present. Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchoff?
Yes.
Commissioner Romick?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Arnrich,
Yes.
Chair Pierce.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, Terry Ann. The next item is 4.4, and that is the appointment of one representative to serve on the Iron Horse Corridor Management Program Advisory Committee. And we can get a report from John Hung.
Yes, I'd like to introduce myself to the board. My name is John Huang, the planning director.
Thank you. Turn on your mic, please. Yep.
Okay, can you hear me now? John Huang, the new planning director. Nice to meet you all. Good evening, Chair Pierce and commissioners. I just want to give you a brief background on this item. Assembly Bill 1025, which was sponsored by Assembly Member Grayson, was signed into law back in October 2019. And that bill specifically created a seat reserved for the authority on the Iron Horse Corridor Management Program Advisory Committee. Last month in your package, you also received a letter from the Board of Supervisors addressed to the authority requesting the board to appoint one representative to this committee. This committee is essentially a committee assembled to assist Contra Costa County in developing a management program for the Iron Horse Trail. And as you all know, the Iron Horse Trail is a multi-use facility that extends from Concord to Pleasanton. With that, staff recommendation is that the board has two options. Either one, appoint a board member to this committee, or two, authorize the executive director to assign a staff member to represent the authority. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Any questions here in the room? Karen?
Thank you. I'm sure many of you know the background of this, but Supervisor Anderson was very involved in the negotiation on this. She is an alternate. Would she be considered a member of this board, or would she be I would like to put forth her name and then a staff person being the alternate. But on the other hand, we have Commissioner Arnrich, who's city mayor's, but he's in Danville, and Commissioner Hudson. You don't want it, and Candace, you do want it. Oh, you do want it. All right, I shouldn't put Candace's name forward, but I saw it more as a regional issue.
I understand that. My question then of John would be, is there a seat already for a member of the Board of Supervisors?
I don't have the information.
I don't think so.
They have an appointment. I used to be it. Mary
From the
People
board?
appointed me. Yes. Yeah, I don't know who it is now.
In which case it could then be
No, and I did
Candace.
not realize that, so we'll leave that alone, and then I would move Commissioner Hudson.
Okay, I'm going to ask those on the phone if they have any questions or additional nomination. Anybody on the phone have comments or another nomination or want to contest Dave for the seat? Loella?
No, I
Go ahead, Federal.
This is Federal. I think that that we do have a seat on that, Karen. I'm not sure, but if there is a seat, I know that Candace is probably the sitting member.
And I appreciate that. I'm getting a text from our staff person, and it talks about how the Iron Horse Committee advises the Board of Supervisors. So it may have been the board's position in the past to appoint someone who is not a member of the board, since it is advising. He's
Right.
texting me back right as we speak, but I'm happy with Commissioner Hudson. I don't have a problem.
Okay, I don't have one.
Okay, anybody else on the phone have questions, comments, or nominations?
Because Commissioner Hudson has assured me he will look at it as a regional issue. I know how much he loves it in his end of the county, but it's a regional.
Well, and the other question is the obvious one from this board, at least, would be Loella, because Walnut Creek is sort of central. No, I know. We all know where it goes. Okay. I'm not hearing anybody on the phone volunteer anything or ask any questions. So we have one nomination for Dave Hudson to serve as our representative representing everyone in the county that has anything to do with the Iron Horse Trail.
I have a 20-minute acceptance speech prepared.
I'm going to exercise the chair's prerogative to not hear that. Thank you very much. That said, all in favor, Terry Ann, please call the roll.
Commissioner Butt,
Yes.
Vice Chair Geringer,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
Commissioner Haskew, still not present, Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Romick,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Arnrich,
Yes.
Chair Pierce.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Very good. Thank you, Terry Ann. That's very helpful. The other items on the agenda are correspondence and communications, and those are routine. Associated committee reports are routine, and I don't have any comments other than terrific job setting this up. We are looking into, and I'll let you, the executive director, talk about potentials for future technology.
Commissioners, I was going to actually cut my discussion short, but
You can-
let me say that we're actually looking at technology to figure out how to streamline this process so we can dial in remotely and conduct a meeting that we have PowerPoint, we can see the presentations and those kinds of things. So Brian Keller, who has left, he's trying to minimize his exposure. He is looking, and with Terry Ann, are looking for different technologies, the right technology, not just any technology that will meet our needs well into the future after this issue ends. So that's one thing we're trying to do. John Huang, who is our newest director, he's our newest employee, he's the newbie. He comes to us from CCAG, San Mateo County. He has actually worked on a continuity of government. So we've got a continuity of government draft proposal. What do we need to do in case of emergency, disaster, fire, those kinds of things? And we've determined essential things are paying our contractors, paying PERS, paying our employees, making sure we pay their rent. Can we do that remotely? So that's all part and parcel to the technology that we're looking for. I think we're lucky in that we've made some decisions early. We've gone to Office 365 so we can work anywhere outside of this office. It works fine. All the files are stored in SharePoint. And then we've gone to eBuilder and a number of other technologies that we don't have to be in the office. Construction has gone completely paperless. You can run a construction program from somewhere else pretty easily. And so everything that we've done prior to this is kind of fed into this notion of no paper, but it's also fed into the idea that we don't have to conduct a meeting here. The last piece of technology is what do we use to make sure we all can see the same thing. That's the hard part. So we've done that. As far as continuity of government, we are some of our employees are working from home. We've instituted a work from home policy to make sure everybody has the right equipment at home and the right safeguards at home when they're working, and so that has been put into play. And so far, it's been pretty seamless. We've talked to our contractors. We have two prime contractors, one on 684, the other on 680, and inform them that make sure you tell your employees if they feel ill. The same thing that we're telling our employees, tell your employees because it's important. And we're talking to Caltrans, if the volumes of the highway are light in the interstate, then why can't we work during the day? So we can try to shave some time off that. We'll bring to you in the future a change order to accelerate construction, get 680 done a year early. So we'll probably be presenting that here very, very shortly to you all and to get a decision on that. But other than that, everything seems to be working pretty well. The only issue that we have is what happens if we all have to go home, and then how do we deal with, if you don't have work, how do you deal with the charging part of that? So we're trying to work our way through that. We've created a charge code. If you run out of leave, then you'll end up going into the negative potentially, but as you stay on, you're going to end up making that negative a positive in the future. So we don't want anybody not to get paid just because they may or may not have the right amount of work. I think one of the blessings that we have is we have 20 employees. That's it. So we slow down the consultants and we keep our employees busy. And so when you only have 20 employees and you're working on a multi-billion-dollar suite of projects and programs, you're pretty busy on a daily basis. So the only hindrance is, do you have the right equipment in order to work from home? And we're trying to upgrade everybody's equipment so that they'll have a laptop and or a Surface Pro so they can work at home with internet access. So that's underway now, and Brian has talked to Ensight. Ensight has said they have an access to some laptops, and so we may get six or seven more laptops for our employees. So that's what we've done so far. I think things have worked out pretty well. We're not panicking here at the authority. We're making sure that our contractors get paid. We're giving them assurances that keep working. But if your employees get sick, tell them to go home. Don't continue to work and expose everybody. And so we're trying to minimize the amount of meetings that we go to. So I've asked the team, for the time being, no more travel if you don't have to. And you can travel out to the job site and back. But other than that, travel to a minimum. If there's not a decision that has to be made, don't go to a meeting and get a chance to get exposed. Dial in to those meetings. That's why we have landlines still. So that's really, in a nutshell, what we're doing here.
Thank you, Randy. I listened into a National Association of Regional Councils webinar today talking about exactly that, the continuity of service for all of our agencies. And one of the things that the folks in the Miami, Ohio area are doing is encouraging people that if things get slow on their regular work, they do additional study, they do all the extra trainings that they're required to do. If somebody's behind on their sexual harassment training or ethics training or something, get all those things done. Read up, study, find out new information, organize your files, all those kinds of things that are sort of housekeeping things that need to be done occasionally. And so encouraging them to do that. That's one of the things that we can all do at home. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm sure purging paper right now, trying to find my desk. So, Newell, I think you had a comment?
go ahead.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, if I can ask the question or bring you back to the scheduling of work on 680, and you said daytime instead of night. Has there been any discussion about 24 hours? What did you do on the Bay Bridge when that was shut down? Didn't we? Wasn't it 24 hours?
Yeah, we shut the bridge down for 55 hours for the Labor Day weekend. We did that several years in a row, and it works very well. So the point is, right now we're limited to nighttime, very short work windows. You can actually lengthen those work windows into the daytime and continue to work all night long and get more work done for the next 3 weeks.
Because the traffic is certainly not there.
Yeah. No, really?
Let me ask
That's an hour and a half early today.
Yeah.
So we did an interview with ENR, Engineering News Record. It goes to all the A&E firms. It goes all over the United States. We just did an interview on the impacts of this virus on transportation, in particular on transit. So think about this, and I sent the Roadshow another note. 3 weeks ago, I bought gasoline at Costco in Concord, unleaded, $3.09, which is less than after they added the 12 cents for Senate Bill 1 that people were they didn't like. So gasoline at that 3 weeks ago was a lot cheaper than when they added the 12 cents to gasoline. Yesterday morning, I bought gasoline again at the Concord Costco. It was $2.89 a gallon, 20 cents cheaper than it was the previous week or 3 weeks ago. It's even cheaper. But we don't talk about that very often. But what that impact means is if you're driving less and gas is cheaper, the fund estimate in California is going to be less. So next year, the STIP cycle, all that is going to be a lot less. And so what we're doing now is when we're asked, we talk about if you want to accelerate construction, you need to think about environmental laws and rules to relax some of those both on a state level and a federal level to get construction going again if it's going to get stopped. And then get our projects a list of, so Tim's working on aggregating a list of projects that have NEPA documents approved, because if the feds kick in some stimulus money, you're going to have a NEPA document. So if we have projects ready to go to design, projects ready to go to construction, we'll be in great shape to have a NEPA document to capture some of that money. So we're trying to get prepared for that as well. So that's being done is that correct, Tim? Yeah, so we are doing all those things, trying to get ready, because we're trying to still leverage 3 to 1. We're still trying to build infrastructure, even though our sales tax measure did not pass. So we're trying to continue that effort. But keep in mind, gasoline is getting less, and people are driving less, which means the STIP and the shop will be less next year.
That's right. Okay, are there any final questions or comments from anybody on the phone?
Luella Heskew just signed on. I apologize for being late. It sounds like you're in the budget.
Nope, we're done.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm here. But please don't count me because if I miss the meeting, I miss the meeting. I apologize.
Okay. Thank you, Luella. Thank you, Luella. Okay. Very good. Any other questions from those on the phone? If not.
On this item, or, yeah, this is Deborah Allen.
Okay, Deborah.
So are we up to commissioner comments?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to make sure everyone saw that Randy did our staff actually sent a memo out to CCTA commissioners this afternoon that BART has made the decision to eliminate the additional extra commute hour trains that sometimes were called express trains.
Right.
In the morning and in the afternoon.
Yep. We all got that one. Okay, any other comments, Karen?
Just for the general public, we will be holding our Board of Supervisors meeting next week. It was to be our workshop retreat in Danville, which is Supervisor Anderson's district. However, we are not going to do a workshop retreat, going back to a normal board meeting, and all board members will be accessing it remotely. So you can turn on your computers or your TVs to participate, and that's for the general public's information also. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for making the time for this meeting.